Well, here in my garage, just bought this new Porsche Boxster here. Hey, grab yourself a coffee or a beer or some tea. Tea's really nice, and watch this video because I'm going to be telling you a story about my childhood when I got hit by a car. And I was meaning to tell you it on my motovlog, but my audio got corrupted. So sit back, relax, and we're going to do this old school. I'm going to be sitting here at my desk and talking into this microphone and pretending I'm not bored with it because, man, I'd rather be in the saddle right now. Anyways, enjoy. Picture this. You're 6 years old. The year is 2001. 9/11 just happened and you moved to a new town that you don't want to be in. A ghetto town in the middle of Rhode Island. Woonsocket, to be exact. The school you're attending is Globe Park Elementary. You're in first grade, and this school is known as a hotbed for pill pushing during the craze of pill pushing in the United States for Ritalin and other mental disability medications. 98% of the students around you are on some sort of prescription. Most of them are a result of the school intervening in the life of the child. You don't remember things that you learn day to day in school because you are suffering from an episode of depression because you know a better life than this. The teacher that you have lacks better judgment as an adult and fails as a supervisor for children growing. This was my story when I was 6 years old. My teacher wanted me to go on some sort of medication because I was not compliant enough for her. She was upset with the fact that I would talk back and question her authority when she would say things sometimes. She was upset with the fact that I didn't pay attention enough and that I would often be caught looking out the window because I didn't want to do the busy work that I'd already done in my schools prior to this one. Now, my background is that I'm bilingual. And if you want to know what my first language was, and it's not English, comment down below and I might tell you. Are you liking the video so far? I'm not going any further until you like that video and subscribe. I got all day. Alright, moving on. With this introduction to mental health, obviously you can see that things weren't going super well for me at that age. My parents were good. They were very good to me and they were trying their best. But they were very busy with a business that they were trying to run. I had to do my own thing as a child. So, I was left to my own devices in school, and I would get in trouble quite often because of, well, being a kid. And in a school like this, that was just unacceptable. One day, the teacher pushed the school to get my mental status evaluated. And one day, a man in a suit comes into my classroom and asks me to leave with him. I was ecstatic because I said, oh my, this is my chance to get away from this horrible, horrible lady. And so I leave with him and we have a mental exam. More about comprehension, IQ level, you know, the works. After about 2 hours of testing, which to me, by the way, felt more like play than testing, we had a lot of puzzles and comprehension tests. He would read me excerpts and I would recite them back to him, memory games, and just general, just checking to see how good my attention span was. Turns out, I didn't have ADHD. I didn't have any form of mental disability. I was only lacking in one fact, is that English was my second language, so I needed to be put on ESL. After the evaluation, I went back into my classroom, continued my day, and weeks went by, and school ended for the summer. My teacher got fired. It turns out that I was above average on every score by quite a good margin, and my teacher was deemed an unacceptable resource for children to be growing up around because she tried to put me on pills when I had absolutely nothing wrong with me. I didn't want to keep doing work that I already knew how to do. This was a sad situation that myself and many, many, many other children went through back in 2001. Let's fast forward a little bit. A year later, you might be wondering what this has to do with getting hit by a car. Well, getting hit by a car for a child who's 7 years old is very taxing on your mental health. Second grade comes by. I'm in a new class with a new teacher. I love this teacher, by the way. I will say her name. Her name was Miss Flood. If you're watching this by any chance, thank you for being one of the few good teachers to me. This was the year 2002, I think. Late 2001, actually, because it was shortly after my birthday. I'm a September birthday, as some of you know. You can click up in the links on the upper right-hand corner. I have a video of me handing out gifts on this very bike right now on my birthday last year. A couple months into school, I'm riding home one day with my grandmother and my mother. We just got groceries, and my mother says, don't cross the road, Grandma's gonna go first, we're gonna go together. My grandmother grabbed some stuff out of the trunk. She went upstairs. I wanted to just get home as fast as possible. It was just one of those days. I'm sure that all of you can relate, especially the men watching this when we were all boys when we were younger. We just had some hard days at school. We just wanted to get home and go to our rooms as fast as possible. I still remember this day vividly. I grabbed a gallon of milk, and I looked both ways without asking my mother because, you know, I'm that kind of a little shithead as a child. And I just walked out into the middle of the street. Granted, this was a school zone, so I wasn't completely stupid. Or so we think. Hey, listen. The man in the suit said I wasn't stupid, okay? So I'm not stupid. We think. I don't know. Comment down below if you think I'm dumb. So I walk out into the street after checking both ways, seeing that there was nothing there, and just like a flash happened. I don't know why. And a Jeep Wrangler was coming right at me from my left, and I freaked out, so I moved forward into the other lane. And from my right, I see this Kia Optima, whatever Kia was back then. You know, a Band-Aid, a literal Band-Aid, a piece of traffic was coming right at me, and both these cars seemed like they were going like Mach 1. I'm freaking out. I'm 7 years old. I'm 4 feet tall and like 60 pounds. I remember putting down the gallon of milk, being like, I gotta save this for later. Standing back up to meet my fate and being like, well, at least I saved the milk. Turning around and closing my eyes. I remember hitting the ground with my eyes closed, rolling a bunch of times, standing up to see my mother petrified, crying, going to the sidewalk, seeing the man that hit me step out of his car. He was completely pale. Hey, man, if you're watching this, I forgive you. I mean, look, things happen. I don't know. Sure, you should have been paying more attention, but I know we are all guilty of not paying enough attention on the road sometimes, and you're just human. I hope that your punishment wasn't too harsh. Seriously. Life is about moving on and dealing with the punches that come at us. Like for me, seeing that my video footage is good, but my audio is completely corrupted. Here we are. Are you liking this video, by the way? If you haven't liked it already, like I asked you to earlier, please like it now, because I went through a lot. If not for that, like it for just the virtues of this video being mostly uncut. Anyways, I lie down on the ground crying. I peed myself, because of course that's natural at that point. I was scared. Ambulance comes by, I get brought to the hospital. The doctors are amazed. Not only that I'm alive, because the car was going about 30 in a school zone, and this was right after school, but the fact that I didn't break anything. Not sprain, nothing. I had a sore back, lower back for like a week. Turns out what happened was I got hit in the back. I went flying off of the front bumper about 20 feet into the air, landed on my head, and rolled a bunch of times. Probably the roll and my genetics are what saved me in many ways. Some time passes, I heal up, I go back to school, but I start having nightmares and anxiety, and just when I thought that my life was going to start getting better because I got that mental evaluation the year before in this school, nope, this happens, and I just get left with more and more reasons to completely hate Rhode Island, hate Woonsocket, hate Globe Park, hate my house, hate my room, and then I started hating cars, which a lot of you subscribers will know that's just odd of me because I actually really like automobiles, cars, bikes. Look, if it's got wheels and I can drive it, I like it. Tractors, bicycles, Heelys even. So that was just very odd for me, being a child who liked cars and then started to hate cars because of what happened. I would have night terrors where cars would crash in through my wall to try to kill me. I know it seems kind of absurd now because we're older, but look, at 7 years old, I'm sure any of you would crap your pants at the thought of that. So my mom and my father decide that enough is enough. They sold their business, it was cutting losses, and we left and we moved to Vermont. My life changed for the better when that happened. It was hard for me to acclimate and go from being a tough public school kid to being a nice neighborhood Vermonter, to help other people instead of being defensive all the time, being afraid that I'll get choked out or punched or something and being ready to pounce on anyone. Because that's what it was like in Globe Park. No, instead I went to a private Catholic school. I'm not Catholic, but hey, it was a good place, you know, family oriented, kind of sheltered, and you know what, at that point I welcomed it. I welcomed it, and it was exactly what I needed in my life. That gave me some stability, and it helped me sleep at night somewhat. However, until about 4th grade, I was still dealing with anxieties and just strange effects from this mental health situation that this accident had put me into. So my mother decided that it was time for me to be seen by a therapist. And I was so lucky because this therapist saw me for about 2 months, gave me a bunch of help with meditations, and let me just speak my mind. Someone to listen to me and my pains and all the crazy things I was thinking in my head. And he said, "You're not crazy. Your feelings are valid. You're just scared. It's okay. But I want you to know that take your time with these fears, but they're not real. It's done. It's over with. It'll never come back to you again." So by the time I was in 5th grade, I felt better. Now, that's going to seem like a long time. Going from age 7 to about age 11. It took that long for me to heal. I still have episodes of anxiety on and off to this day. They're much more manageable, but the whole virtue of this video is mental health awareness. And if you're dealing with any sort of mental health, suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, or worse, please don't be afraid to reach out. I know it can be difficult at times. I know that you can feel defeated. You'll have your days where you wake up and you feel like your steam is gone. You just want to lay in bed. You don't want to try. Not because you don't want to try, but because you feel like you can't anymore, and that if you do, you just won't be able to try tomorrow. It's okay to get help. People are there for you. People are there for me, and I'm here for you just as much as you are for me. I appreciate your audience, and I appreciate you here for this story today. I know it was kind of short and sweet when it comes to details, but I gave you everything that you needed to hear. So stay safe out there. Keep both wheels on the ground unless you're doing a wheelie on purpose. Have fun with your burnouts. Tell your friends that you love them. Tell your family that you love them. Anyone you have around you, pets, animals, your artwork, anything. I don't care. And you know what? Since this video is such a feel-good video, if you have a business or artwork or your own YouTube channel that you want to amplify the audience for, that you want to promote, leave it in the comments down below. I'm totally welcome with that. Do that. Leave a like. Leave your comments. Subscribe. I appreciate your viewership. And I appreciate you being able to sit down and have this nice cup of tea with me. Stay marvelous. Peace out.